Yannis Ashurtis, Managing Partner, BNYX Hill, NED, and Chairman in Revolut Digital Assets. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big warm round of applause to our panelists for our next panel discussion.
So, hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's another time that we are meeting here, and I'm very excited because we are going to have this reasonable conversation here that we believe is not only going to bring the hype and the discussion about the price chart and the price, but we are going to build up something because my team here is they're having expertise in one of the very crucial area when it comes to decentralized finance. And the world that we're having right now is a transformation. And as I mentioned before when I was doing my keynote here, we are having a bigger number of wrong perspective in understanding the crypto and the blockchain ecosystem itself. So it's our duty to make sure that we try to leverage that. Like we use buzzy stuffs to hype the market. Like I believe today so many people have been scammed because of the Bitcoin fees a day. People will try to create something out of it just to take the money out of the misunderstanding for. So I'm very happy. I would like to introduce my panelists, and I would like them to talk by themselves, at least to give them the chance to tell us exactly what they do, because we have builders, we have regulators, and have visionaries here. So we are going to have a very strong discussion here. Welcome.
Thank you, Anthony, for the brief. Hey guys, my name is Hemang Joshi. I am AI and DeFi expert at OpenMinds. I'm in my heart, I'm an engineer. I'm a builder, and what I do is that I mostly work around cryptography, ZKPs, and FHEs, and I also have a background of DeFi. So I'm just in the space trying to understand the amalgamation of all these three. Also the AI. I'm the AI teacher at UNESCO Center of Peace. Thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Dima. I'm CEO and co-founder of Hacken. Most of the people know our company because of the security audits for smart contracts, for exchanges, for blockchain protocols. We started our journey in 2017, but the main idea of why we're doing this for so many years is because we love and hate our industry. Love because it gives so much opportunity, but at the same time we're still very immature, still have a lot of scams, frauds and hacks. And we try to build products, try to educate people, and try to partner with some. First it was CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, and then right now actively working with regulators so that they build the regulation that matters and not the one that stops the innovation. And I moved to Abu Dhabi last year because we're very close with ADGM.
Good evening, or good afternoon rather. My name is Yannis Ashurtis. I have more than 20 years of experience in trying to interpret regulation and kind of transfer the expectations of regulators into advisable actions to founders and financial institutions. So basically, our kind of work became very, very relevant with crypto and crypto regulation and distributed ledger technologies and all the ways that basically decentralization can be facilitated or cannot be facilitated. For the past 2 years, we started our advisory firm that does exactly that. We're trying to bridge the divide between regulation and actionable advice for founders, especially in financial services that incorporate digital aspects, digital assets, and so on. And I'm also working with the Revolut.
Seeing so many things happening around, and now we are 2025. I would like, just in a short and brief, how is DeFi in 2025 like? Is it all about speculation trading only, or how is it starting from Assuros?
Well, the problem with DeFi, I think that it began with a hype. The whole concept of DeFi, everyone thought that everyone was evangelizing that you had this new thing that was going to revolutionize everything, but would revolutionize it in totally utopic and unrealistic expectations. People at the beginning thought that DeFi would mean that no more banks, no more KYC, no more regulation, people will do whatever they want, which is totally unrealistic.
You tell us, what do you see DeFi in 2025?
Yeah, sure. So I would first like to include the part where the DeFi got a little bit connected with AI. So the inclusion of AI to make the DeFi kind of deaf AI. So in 2025, it's going to have a good narrative there. And apart from that, I do agree about Hyperliquid, the perpetual dexes. It's going to have a good narrative. Then Eigenlayer, so the staking and
Daima, looking at the DeFi industry, we have seen so many hacks. I was checking on the statistics, around 4.5 billion have been hacked. And then I was checking on the TVL, according to DeFi Lama, since the year of DeFi Summer in 2022, we saw the total value of the asset was at the peak of 180 billion US dollars. But as we are speaking right now, it has went down to around 100 billion dollars. So my question is, with these all kind of challenges, do we miss the real ideas that we're supposed to create in DeFi, or the knowledge of this DeFi stuff has fallen in the wrong hands?
Okay, thank you. So the reality is that the smart contract vulnerability, like hacks due to smart contract vulnerabilities, is declining. So in general, like auditors are doing a good job, especially if there is a bug bounty after the audits, and even if the big protocols also have their on-chain monitoring. And
so I was saying, if you check on the number of the money that people trust the protocols and lock them, it has went down instead of going up. But we see the number of users that are growing up every day. So that means people are losing and they become skeptical and they fear to lock their money in the different protocols. So do we need to upgrade the standards that we need to have for DeFi protocols to be given to the community for the consumer protection?
yes, of course. Another, just throwing some numbers. So you said that the number of hacks was around 4.5 billion last year. What do you think was the total cybersecurity expenditure of crypto market for the last year?
I think
Like approximately, what do you think? Annual, how many money companies are spending on the third-party security services in crypto and security services and products, approximately?
I think if you know better, you can give out so people can know, because I need to go with a specific
Just
number.
throw a number.
Not sure.
Okay, so it's definitely less than 450 million. So it's less than 10% from what was actually hacked.
Okay.
So obviously there should be a very big push so companies start spending more.
Thank you very much. So going back to Ashiros, we have been expecting that DeFi is going to help unbanked, because we know many people, especially if you check on the Asian side and Africa, for example, they are owning many smartphones more than the bank cards. So the aim of DeFi, we thought maybe is going to help many people who are unbanked to access different services like yield farming like lending and borrowing, whatever, staking, and other services which are available in DeFi. So as you see the progress as it's going right now, is it going to help the unbanked, or is just staying back to the native crypto users?
Okay, that's a good question. I always think of DeFi as bringing democratization in banking and in financial services. True democratization, right? And this is where I believe the true value of DeFi exists. But in order to do that, it means that you need to have institutional adoption. So basically, if you want to help the unbanked, first you need to ensure that you're going to have an institutional adoption, which is then going to be able to roll out the applications, the protocols to be helping the unbanked. Now, in order to do that, again, you need to be able to build into DeFi three main components, which paradoxically transform DeFi to sort of a decentralized but regulated finance. And those three components, in my opinion, are definitely governance, accountability, auditability, right?
Zero knowledge proof or whatever. I want to ask the question to Herman, because you deal with that thing. It's something which is new, and we see every day there's a new technology that's coming through the blockchain ecosystem. So I want to know, how does that, do you see the zero knowledge idea plus the DID, digital identity, plus the regulations, can they coexist and come up with something which is having the way to protect the consumers?
Yeah, definitely. So,
We have seen so many times now, some people are using Bitcoin natively was not used for DeFi services. But now we have seen a wrapped Bitcoin phase, and some people they are using it for DeFi. Do you see that is viable, or is just another illusion? Bitcoin to be used in the DeFi protocols.
There are good projects, BitLayer, for example, BTVM, Bitcoin OS. Basically, what they do, they take Bitcoin as liquidity and they issue synthetic assets that are used as liquidity to the DeFi ecosystems that they build. I think it's great. It's basically it's increasing the M1, so-called the money in ecosystem, like because Bitcoins are not just laying in the cold wallets and they basically start to work. I think it's very good, and yeah, I recommend to try this project, BitLayer, Bitcoin OS, BTVM, for sure.
Okay, so for the compliance part about the zero knowledge proof, one of the things that I ever thought maybe it's going to work better when it comes to ZKP, zero knowledge proof, is on voting, because if it can be validated that somebody has voted but you don't know who has, I mean, you have voted for somebody but you don't know who has voted, it protects the voters at some point. Do you see there is a chance of this kind of innovation to be integrated in the different government system, especially in the voting system, and being used as the main way to promote transparency and security for the democracy as well, for the voters?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I totally believe that this is definitely going to be the case. Don't forget that the European Union, we already have the rollout of the EIDAS, the Electronic Identification System, right? Which basically is, okay, it's a bit primitive compared to what we're discussing about distributed ledger technologies and zero knowledge systems.
Yeah.
But definitely it's a precursor to what the things that are going to be coming up. So definitely I'm very optimistic that this is something which is imminent, it's inevitable, and I think that with the adoption, understanding, and with the trust that these systems are going to gain in the next decade, I think that it's only natural that you're going to have voting in addition to any other kind of allowing participation in governance, which is going to be facilitated through protocols and distributed ledger technologies.
Thank you very much. So, coming to the real world asset, I believe you have been following up the market recently. Before this event, we happened to see Mantra coin crashing, right? You ever went through that? Mantra was one of the projects that was seemed to be promising when it comes to a real world asset tokenization. And this, what tokenization has happened to be one of the buzzwords recently. And we saw that coin. They mentioned that they had a contract. They secured a contract with the DAMAC and MAG, if I'm not mistaken. But then, with all those kind of good news that they had, of course, it brought a sentiment, positive sentiment to the investors and the traders as well. They were having a long positions. But then, out of nowhere, once they launched their own blockchain, everything went down. The coin was losing its value. Traders were losing their collateral. The exchanges tried to close the position. Cascading happened. And then the same scenario like what happened to Luna happened to Mantra. So what is your comment on that?
General, my comment is that exchanges who are listing projects, they have a liability, in my opinion, to do a very detailed analysis of the circulation supply. And they have to disclose the founders' wallets, private investors' wallets, and they have to show if some of them start to sell assets, just like it's done in the stock markets, because it really affects, like, without that, like, retail investors is basically fooled. So, and I think that, yeah, there was a hack. There were some hacks and problems with Mantra, but I believe that the main ideas why we have this price drop is because some private investors were selling their pockets. So that's it. We have to push accountability for the circulation supply audits.
That's very important because it was really bad. As you see, Damak and MAG are very big companies here in Dubai. They have reputation. Once the contract were mentioned, many people, they just follow the news. They don't follow the realistic of the whatever that they want to do. They just follow the news. So when that happened, it was really bad and everybody was disappointed. But until now, Damak has not said anything. MAG has not said anything, and there is no more information since that news that said they were making a contract to tokenize their assets here in Dubai. So, in the terms of compliance, how do you see this? Is it most of the people are having the eagerness to get into technology, but they don't know what they're getting into? How do we put this?
Well, again, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just like Dima said, stock exchanges have existed for hundreds of years, right?
Yeah.
And if you want to list any kind of security in the stock exchange, what is a security? Basically, I take a piece of my company and my company's assets, and I make them available to the retail investor, which means that I can manipulate the valuation, I can manipulate the existence, I can manipulate the availability. There's a lot of ways that this can be manipulated. And throughout the centuries, exchanges formed the mechanisms to protect retail investors. One of those things is basically the requirement that if you're going to be able to be listing a security, you're not going to be a market participant, from the broker end. You're not going to be a facilitator. In the digital world, unfortunately, market participants, brokers, are the listers. So that's the first conflict of interest. The second is barriers to entry. There is none. If you want to be an exchange, your capital requirements are what, 150,000 euros or $150,000? Nothing. Whereas for a stock market, it runs in the tens of millions, right? Now, third, listing requirements. Is a white paper enough? Probably not, right? Yeah. There has to be a deeper understanding of what's at offer here. Who's verifying the white paper? There has to be a mechanism. Again, the trust, accountability, governance, auditability, right? These are not buzzwords. These are key words. And again, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We go back to the basics. Market manipulation requirements, disclosure requirements, right? Related party disclosure transactions, closed windows. Now, people that are traditionally financial services have heard about these things a million times. We don't have to go about and find new ways to do it. We can automate them. Yes, we can embed them in smart contracts, right? And we can make the disclosure of wallets automated and embedded into smart contracts. But the tools are there. We have to implement them, and once that happens, believe me, we're going to have adoption, we're going to have trust, and then we're not going to be needing to have these kind of conversations anymore.
100%. Yeah. I just released the article. I'm going to send you. Like, it's completely what you just said. No.
You just wanted to add that? You were amazed. I saw you were amazed with what he was talking.
But just fully agreed. I like to sit next to same-minded people.
That's great. So, coming to Hamad, with what you are doing, you have been involved yourself in a ZKP and all that stuff. Can you give at least one solution that you think what you are inventing is going to help to elevate humanity? Just one thing that you think, this one, if it's going to go properly, I think it's going to solve this problem for a very long time.
Yeah, sure. So I'll just come back to the topic of the real world asset tokenization. And I think so that there is a little loophole of security out there. And here, if we try to introduce FHE, so which is fully homomorphic encryption, so basically what you do is that here you don't really need to have to reveal anything. Like, so if ZKP is what you do is like without revealing the information, FHE what does is that it process on the data which is already encrypted, and once the party that needs to receive the data, only they can decrypt it. So basically, in the applications of real world assets, so basically it's a $16 trillion market. where you always need to be ensured that your and it's called real estate for a reason. Like it's real and it's estate in your hand. And if you want to go ahead and tokenize that thing, and you want to invest your money into it, so you need to have some cryptographic protocols which are really sound and solid enough to ensure that it is happening on the top of it. So like there is two schemes there which are called BTV and BFP schemes. So basically what they help to do is that like they help to encrypt on this hypertext. So earlier it was not able to do it on the divisions, but now it's able to do it on the division. So basically with using this you can try to create application like indexes, like which are private. So basically you can try to create a private only swap. So like including that, and also if we try to include AI here like too, so it helps to protect your data, because then to train your LLM models you can train on the top of it without really encrypting the data, so you're not really losing any privacy and you're not really losing any personal information. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Okay, so to finish up the last question, before I want to take at least 2 questions from the audience. We have seen several times when hacks happens, especially in the DeFi protocols. For example, we check on the first DeFi that we know that was produced, the DAO Maker DAO, right? It had a hack, and they did a hard fork. They rolled back the actions. And recently, we have seen the Razalios have scammed a lot of Ethereums from Bybit, right? So why do you think at that time they had to roll back to protect whatever was stolen? This time it was not possible. What was the difference? What was the difference between these 2 actions? The one that happened with the MakerDAO, they had a roll up, they did a hard fork, but this one, they didn't do anything.
Yeah, but everybody understood that it was a mistake. It's like at that point of time, it's 2016. Everybody, like the industry was split. Like half of the people said, "It's Vitalik, you're doing the wrong thing. You cannot roll back the transactions," and that's how Ethereum Classic has appeared. But Vitalik, like laterly, he said that yes, it was a mistake, and we cannot break the principle of decentralization. But like the so-called the private blockchains that enterprise are promoting, they will have this rollback function, and in future we will see that we will have 2 separate different vaults, one with censorship from the big banks, from the stablecoin issuers, and probably there is going to be more liquidity. And the smaller crypto vault with USDC, probably some protocols without KYC, some even private stablecoins, but they're going to coexist in parallel. But this smaller vault, they will never break the principle of decentralization again. I don't believe in it.
Yeah, that's great. So that means this one is the personal mistake, and that one was the protocol issue.
Vitalik admitted. He said it was a mistake.
Okay, so thank you.